This woman didn't know she'd been caught in Providence. Taylor Schnabusiness, 25, appeared in national news stories last year after allegations came to light that she supposedly decapitated her partner while having sex on meth. She attacked her own lawyer, Quinn Jolly of Green Bay, in court on Tuesday when the judge said a delay of her trial was needed. Judge Thomas Walsh found that the trial, set to begin March 6th, needed to be pushed back to the 15th of May, if not later, Fox 6 reported. Ms. Schnabusiness was less than pleased by the scheduling change and seemingly placed the blame squarely on Mr. Jolly. The 25-year-old was handcuffed when she attacked the attorney, and a short fight ensued before an officer in the room scrambled to retain her. Mr. Jolly is reported to have told Judge Walsh that if he required more time for an expert for the defense to look into the case and to testify regarding the competency of Ms. Schnabusiness. She has pleaded not guilty to several charges, including first-degree intentional homicide, mutilation of a corpse, and sexual assault. The charges stem from 23 February 22, when she alleged to have killed Shad Thyron, her lover, according to the authorities. Ms. Schnabusiness has also pleaded not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect, legal filings reveal. Last year, a physician appointed by the court found that she was able to stand trial. Mr. Jolly said at that time that he was intending to get a secondary examination conducted. He added that Ms. Schnabusiness has been diagnosed as bipolar in the past and that she'd been getting mental health treatment since she was in the 7th grade. A criminal complaint states that the authorities found Mr. Thyron's head in a bucket in a basement after his mother had discovered the scene of the alleged meth-fueled crime, according to Law and Crime. Ms. Schnabusiness is alleged to have admitted that she became crazy while having sex and choked Mr. Thyron with the chain that had been placed around his neck. Schnabusiness stated that she then began to choke the victim, and she described it as the victim lying face down in the bed with her on top of him pulling on the end of the chain, the complaint states. The victim coughed up blood, and she was just waiting for him to die while she was watching his face. Schnabusiness made the comment that she was already this far, so she just kept on, referring to choking the victim. Schnabusiness said in a lower tone of voice, "Yeah, I liked it," and Detective Graff believed her to be referring to when she was choking the victim, the document says. Schnabusiness stated she thought it took 3 to 5 minutes for the victim to die. Detective Kemp clarified with Schnabusiness that when the victim began to cough up blood, she just kept on choking the victim because she wanted to see what happened. Schnabusiness made comments that she blacked out while choking the victim, but when she woke up that the victim was already purple, so she kept on going, the legal filing states. Schnabusiness stated she enjoyed choking him and made comments to detectives asking if they knew what it was like to love something so much that you killed it. Ms. Schnabusiness allegedly indicated the crime scene and told officers that they would have fun trying to find all of the organs. Schnabusiness stated all of the body parts should be in the basement. Schnabusiness stated there should be a foot or leg in the minivan. Legal documents say Detective Graff asked Schnabusiness what she did with the head, and Schnabusiness stated she'd put the victim's head in a bucket and put a blanket over it. It's been reported that Mr. Jolly intends to leave the case. Mr. Jolly's law firm, the Brabazon Law Office, told The Independent that due to ethical considerations we have no comment at this time. Another woman attacked a judge on the court. A Kentucky woman is facing new charges after attacking a judge on Thursday in family court. Judge Jennifer Edwards was hearing a domestic violence complaint against Melissa Hardwick, filed by her estranged husband. But the hearing took an unexpected turn when Hardwick was handed a 10-day sentence, prompting her to lunge across the bench and security to rush in. Surveillance video of the incident shows Hardwick's husband explaining why he filed the order. Hardwick then interrupts and refuses to stop talking after the judge warns her she will be held in contempt for disobeying her order to do so. Judge Edwards then handed out the sentence, prompting the woman to hurl herself over the bench. Hardwick was taken down by 3 security officers. Edwards was not hurt in the incident. Hardwick suffered facial scratches. Court security officer Adam Dodson, who helped to restrain the woman, said he had only seen such an incident occurring in training. He told WLEX, "I've worked there for 3.5 years, and this was the first time anything that serious had happened." Hardwick was sentenced 120 days in jail for contempt of court for the incident. She faces charges of third-degree terroristic threatening, intimidating a participant in the legal process, and resisting arrest. Her bond is set at $25,000. Judge Edwards ruled after the incident that the domestic violence order filed by Hardwick's husband would remain. When everything in your life is getting wrong. A 36-year-old Baltimore man who allegedly struck Chief Baltimore Circuit Judge Wanda Hurd in the head with a metal water pitcher in a downtown courtroom has been charged with assault. Travis Burrows, already incarcerated for decades on rape and other charges, had just been sentenced by Hurd to an additional life sentence, with all but 70 years suspended for sodomy and false imprisonment when he picked up the water pitcher and threw it at Hurd, striking her somewhere around the middle of her forehead, according to Major Sabrina Tapp Harper, a spokeswoman for the Baltimore Sheriff's Office. Before grabbing and throwing the pitcher at the judge, Burrows became upset as his sentencing was being announced, according to charging documents obtained Thursday by the Baltimore Sun. After being struck, the judge fell back as the pitcher hit the ground. A deputy sheriff in the courtroom took Burrows to the ground and restrained him with handcuffs with help from the Department of Corrections officers. Burrows was escorted out of the courtroom and taken to lockup, charging documents say. Hurd immediately recessed the proceedings to seek medical attention, officials said. Hurd sustained a large contusion to the middle of her forehead, along with injuries to her neck and upper back. She was taken to the emergency room at nearby Mercy Hospital, charging documents say. A crime lab took photos of Burrows after he complained about injuries to his hands and arms. He was then taken to the central booking, where he was charged, documents say. Burrows was charged subsequently with first-degree assault, second-degree assault, and use of a dangerous weapon with the intent to injure, Tapp Harper said. He does not have an attorney listed in the case in online court records. An attorney representing him in the case that was before Hurd could not be reached for comment. Hurd has been a judge since 1999. The incident occurred about 10:40 a.m. as she was presiding over Burrows' sentencing hearing in room 400 of the courthouse at 100 North Calvert Street downtown. Tapp Harper said Hurd was alert while being treated. She said the sheriff's office took the incident tremendously seriously. "We are the enforcement arm of the court, and we will not allow anyone to assault or intimidate any of the judiciary officers here," Tapp Harper said. The officer of Baltimore's state's attorney, Marilyn Mosby, which usually prosecutes assaults in the city, referred the case to Steve Kroll, the Maryland state's attorney's coordinator, to avoid any conflict of interest, as an assistant state's attorney in Mosby's office was a witness to the events. Kroll confirmed Wednesday he had been assigned the case by Mosby, but otherwise declined to comment. Tapp Harper said a review of security protocols is underway. Another history. The father of a woman killed by a convicted sex offender dove across a courtroom table to attack him Thursday, shortly after a judge sentenced the defendant to death for killing 3 people and wrapping their bodies in garbage bags. Van Terry, the father of Sherelda Terry, had walked to the front of the courtroom to give a victim impact statement and turned towards Michael Madison, who gave him a malicious smile. Terry, 46, lunged at Madison and was immediately swarmed by sheriff's deputies as Madison and his attorneys scrambled to get out of the way. Law enforcement officers dragged Terry out of the courtroom and ushered him out of the courthouse. A spokesman for the Cuyahoga County prosecutor said the situation was being reviewed. Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Judge Nancy McDonald declined to clear the courtroom, and after about a 15-minute delay, the hearing continued. McDonald accepted a jury's recommendation that Madison, 38, receive the death penalty. She could have instead chosen to sentence Madison to life in prison without parole. McDonald said the horrific nature of Madison's crimes far outweighed evidence presented to spare him, including an abusive and chaotic childhood. The same jury convicted Madison last month of multiple counts of aggravated murder and kidnapping. Madison didn't make any statements during Thursday's hearing except to answer questions posed by the judge. Defense attorney David Grant declined to comment after the hearing. County prosecutor Tim McGinty said the death penalty was meant for criminals like Madison, whom he called the worst of the worst. Any execution is likely years away because of lengthy appeals. In addition, Ohio currently lacks supplies of lethal drugs, meaning it's unclear whether the state can even begin a new round of executions, currently scheduled to start in January and stretching into 2019. The bodies of 38-year-old Angela Deskin, 28-year-old Shatisha Sheely, and 18-year-old Sherelda Terry were found in July 2013 near the East Cleveland apartment building where Madison lived. Madison told police he strangled two of the women but couldn't remember killing the third. Prosecutors say they were killed over a 9-month period, starting with Sheely in October 2012, Deskins in May 2013, and Terry in July 2013. Other relatives of the victims spoke of their heartbreak and loss during the hearing. Linda Deskins, the stepmother of Angela Deskins, spoke about the grief that Angela's father has endured. "Nothing anyone can say or do can make it better for him," Linda Deskins said. The discovery of the bodies in July 2013 drew national attention to the possibility that another serial killer like Anthony Sowell had been killing women in and around Cleveland. Sowell was convicted in 2011 and sentenced to death for killing 11 women whose bodies were found at his Cleveland home. The Ohio Supreme Court is considering whether to uphold his conviction and sentence. Madison's attorneys never contested his guilt at trial. They instead focused on saving his life by presenting evidence that Madison suffered lasting psychological damage from physical abuse as a youngster. There was testimony that Madison was abused by his drug-addicted mother, a stepfather, some of his mother's boyfriends, and other family members. This history of abuse and his dysfunctional upbringing certainly doesn't excuse what happened here, but certainly provides a basis for understanding the type of person Michael Madison evolved into, Grant told the judge Thursday. The case began when a cable television worker reported a putrid smell coming from a garage shared by Madison at the apartment building. Inside, police found the decaying body of a woman wrapped in garbage bags that were sealed closed with tape. The next day, searchers found bodies in the basement of a vacant house and in the backyard of a home nearby. Prosecutors argued both at trial and during the mitigation hearing that Madison deserved to die because of the circumstances surrounding the killings.